What is up, you awesome gisters? This reaction, guys. Today we're reacting to Game Theory Don't Breathe, Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. So make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to Game Theorists, and comment down below. Let's get into this bop.
There is nothing more gratifying to my soul than being the reason for a theory.
I love how the Freddy Fazbear doll is just torn up. It's finally fed up with FNAF.
That is why it is with enormous pleasure that I am announcing a new theory. A theory based on the Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 teaser trailer. Because while the trailer may seem vague and unspecific, it reveals
which it really was.
more of the horrific experiments that went on inside Playtime Co. May this theory terrify and disturb every theorist that chooses to click.
All right.
Hello, Internet.
Nice intro. Oh, it has the logo Poppy Playtime.
To wake up and smell the poppies. And I mean that quite literally, friends, because today we're diving nose first back into the world of Poppy Playtime, which has been suspiciously quiet since the release of Chapter 2 back in May. Then, all of a sudden,
definitely been quiet for a long time.
Ourselves this little surprise last week. A teaser trailer for Chapter 3.
Last week? That was like 3 weeks ago.
Video sometime next year. And let me tell you, friends, if you haven't seen this teaser yet, it gets dark. It starts off with a slow panning shot of the toys that we've already defeated.
And you know, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird. I want people to state their opinion in the comments. I hope with all this time they're taking to make the next chapter, I'm really hoping that there's going to be more of a fear thing rather than puzzles. Like, I hope they take the Outlast route. Like, you have to, like, turn 3 valves while Huggy or something is chasing you around, and you have to, like, hide and use more stealth rather than just solve puzzles and wrap your arm around poles. Like, tell me I'm not wrong in the chat, guys. Am I wrong? Let me know, like, because I just hate those puzzles.
Huggy Wuggy,
too many of them.
Mommy Longlegs ripped into Bron the dinosaur's head for some reason.
I meant to say tell me if I'm wrong, not tell me tell me I'm not wrong. Sorry, my brain's stupid.
While we listen to Elliot Ludwig, founder of Playtime
Don't want
Co.
to sound like I have a huge ego.
Playcare, the adoption initiative that Playtime Co. is starting. He states that Playtime owes everything to these children, and then the trailer ends as the
because they are the children.
Creepy-looking gas mask. All while the sounds of audience applause mix with the horrifying cries of children. Yay, this is a video game
very horrifying
by kids. Clearly they went hard for this one. The Chapter 2 teaser was creepy. Child singing Itsy Bitsy Spider in a minor key. Classic horror trope. But there's something
Wait, they were singing Itsy Bitsy Spider? I forgot about that.
It's different. And that's coming from a guy who talks about dead kids way more regularly than a person probably should. However, behind those screams is the thing we're really looking for. The lore! For a few episodes now, we've suspected that Playtime Co. used children to make these living,
just say mommy's hungry.
bleeding toys. And now, having the founder of the company outright say, we owe everything to these children, well, I'm thinking he means that literally. But there's a lot more in here than just hints to past theories. I suspect that there's enough in this single minute of content to get a sense of most of what Chapter 3 is going to reveal to us. From the next big bad toy we're going to face to perhaps the most disturbing lore drop to happen yet. So let's take another slide down into the depths of Elliot Ludwig's monster factory, shall we?
Oh gosh.
The best place to start off is
I didn't even notice those PNGs.
the severed dinosaur head in the room.
Second
in my
before.
live reaction to the teaser over on GT Live, where you'll notice I'm wearing some stellar new theory wear, by the way. So that's down below this video.
Yo, this,
nice long-sleeved
Matpat,
or, you know, maybe
Matpat, nah, Matpat's crazy for that one. All right, let's get back to it.
Where was I again? Sorry,
yeah, where were you? Where were you?
Confused. Oh yeah. In my reaction, seeing Bron the dinosaur here immediately set off some theory alarms.
Threw me off of that one.
What is that? Bron the dinosaur? His appearance here seems very
Dinosaur had a name?
The trailer begins by panning up from the remains
I didn't even
of
know
our
that.
first 2 bosses, and then we land on him, implying that he then is going to be our Chapter 3 big bad.
Oh god, a dinosaur with a long neck?
The less important characters from past chapters like Pugapillar and Bunzo appear behind the gas mask at the end of the trailer. If we're to believe this motif that they're setting up here, right, it seems to be indicating that Chapter 1 boss, Huggy, Chapter 2, Poppy, Chapter 3, then is Bron going to be the boss, or kind of like the big bad of Chapter 3. It's also worth pointing out that the gas mask at the end of the teaser
terrifying when you running like it's Jurassic Park.
Bron the dinosaur's color palette. No other toy we've been introduced to at this point matches that coloring, so it does seem like an odd coincidence. Like, again, it's purposefully trying to hint at Bron's importance in this upcoming chapter. And then you have yourself the cardboard cutouts. Throughout Chapter 2, you find these
Why would we need a
cardboard
gas
cutouts
mask,
of various
though?
characters
Was he gonna do a
from
minute
Playtime Co.
gas
scattered
while he
throughout
walks
the map.
around?
If you push the buttons multiple times, they say various phrases. Some of them harmless,
And then some of them very terrifying, like the robot.
We need to get out of here.
I don't know if he's gonna play the robot, but I definitely remember the robot saying something like, "It really hurts when you press the button." That shit was horrifying.
Just kidding.
Wait.
Out of here.
You need to get out of here. Oh, nah.
Just kidding. Go have fun.
And if you keep on pressing, most of them end up as a glitchy mess. Now, I gotta be honest, when I first saw these
the
things,
robot
I
one.
really wanted to do a theory just on these cardboard
Secret
cutouts,
audio.
expecting there to be some sort of hidden lore.
We ain't even made a
inside the glitchy
thumbnail.
Audio. Like, it is the perfect place to hide lore. The perfect place to hide some lore. Mob games, wink wink, nudge nudge. I tried pitch shifting, reversing the audio, spectrograms, basically everything I could think of.
What is that?
Nothing. Maybe there'll be something that happens in chapter 3. Who knows, mob games? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they were totally useless, because Bron does actually give us some interesting information. By pressing his cutout button once, we get a setup for a joke.
What is Mama Dinah with one eye?
And then pressing it again, we get the punchline.
Do you think he saw us?
Slow clap there, Bron. Slow clap. That is the type of humor that's kept me alive on YouTube for the past decade.
Guess
However,
so.
keep pressing the button and you get this.
What do you call the scariest dinosaur? Me.
Oh,
Bron is
no.
outright telling us that he's a scary dinosaur. The other toy cutouts, even the ones that do try to kill us within this very chapter, aren't nearly that overt. Some of them have ominous lines, but none of them are outright warning us about how scary they
I'm gonna
can
do a
be.
heckin'
In short,
murderer.
All the signs are pointing at Bron being the toy that we're gonna face next, which is why I don't believe it. I suspect that this might be a big misdirect on the part of Mob Games. I think it's theory-based. It's meant to get little theorist fishies like me interested in the hook, and then I get lured in and served up on a platter. You see,
Nah.
this isn't the first time.
This man's been going through it for years with FNAF. He's been reaching way too many like roadblocks and dead ends with FNAF. Now he thinks that they're setting up intentional bait. Oh man, I feel bad for Matpat. That wasn't like an insult or anything towards Matpat. It's just I could just tell like all this stuff he's been trying to do all these years lead him to a lot of roadblocks and dead ends and all that stuff, so of course he's gonna be on guard thinking that there's gonna be bait and stuff.
Time that we've had Bron shoved into the spotlight only to be relegated as
I
a
love
mere
Matpat.
background character when the chapter ultimately comes out. All the way back.
I gotta
in the
stop looking
first
down when those
trailer for
PNGs
Poppy
show up.
Playtime,
Scared the hell
there's
out of me
this
again.
Wonderful shot of a giant toy Bron whose head suddenly turns around on its own and reveals its cold, dead eyes. And then
My
the chapter came out
God.
and he was a poster. Cool. He
Safety
reappears
first.
in chapter 2, but again, he's nothing more than just a prop in a puzzle sequence.
I
And
remember
from a
this.
business perspective too, it just doesn't make sense for Bron to star in chapter 3. Mob Games have had such success in creating new big scary villains like Huggy and Mommy. The third chapter, just going back to a character that's existed since the beginning, it loses a lot of the hype of a big teaser reveal. And they not only lose hype, but also a
not
good
unless they can make it
merchandising
scary as Huggy and
People have loved
Mom.
Bron, Catbee, and all the other toys since chapter 1. New chapters means the opportunity for new characters, which means more new merch. And the last thing about this is that Mob Games' strength really seems to be flexible characters. Things that bend, feel softer or rubbery. I mean, Kissy Missy trying to pull this switch in the middle of chapter 2, not only is it hilarious, but it also just shows the strength of the team's animation.
I didn't even realize she
softer
failed the
stuffed
first time.
characters. It is a huge and welcome.
The context for that was when I seen Kissy Missy in my video, like I barely seen her because I went down a dead end thinking that was the way forward, and then I just turned and I seen her and I was like, and then she just hit the lever and then left. I didn't even know she missed on her first attempt.
Departure from the monster
That's hilarious.
designs of a certain other indie franchise that's dominated the scene for the past 8 years. Bron is hard, he's heavy, he's robotic.
FNAF scars.
Again, pushing away from the monster aesthetic that's worked so well for Poppy Playtime up to this point. So call it a hunch from the past decade of doing this, but I don't think Bron's
Theory
gonna be our
permit?
big bad. I think they're gonna reveal more about our big bad in October or November as they get closer to next year's release. But hey, that's just a theory. A
Your
mini
younger
theory
sibling.
that exists within this one larger theory, because I am nowhere
Mini
near done
theory.
with this teaser. But if I am gonna keep going to reveal the big lore drop that I expect is gonna happen in chapter 3, I'm gonna need you to do one thing for me right now.
Let me guess, hit that
click
like
the
button.
Subscribe button. You guys
Aha!
know I know a lot about YouTube, right? Well,
Okay,
here's a
make sure
little
you guys do
known
this-
fact about how it works. Your
You do the same for me, because if you guys want me to keep on watching these Poppy Theory videos,
clicks
you
on
better
the
hit that like
subscribe
button on mine
actually
too.
Wind up a crank over at YouTube headquarters and give the algorithm the power that it needs to play the various videos. So I'm gonna need you to wind that crank. Bet you can't click the subscribe button before I count down to 0, 59, 58.
He's
50.
bugging!
Okay, obviously it was a joke.
I thought he was
Thank
gonna
you
count
for
all the
sub.
way.
YouTube is all powered up. Let's get back to the video, shall we? Well, it would
Yeah, thanks for the
certainly
sub,
be cool to
guys.
figure out the
You know,
next
sub to me
monster
and
that we're
Matpat,
going up
you know?
against in chapter 3. Considering they all seem to die by the end of the chapter anyway, the more intriguing intriguing part is the underlying lore about Playtime Co. and the experiments that they've been
God,
running.
those
Got a lot of
teeth.
hints throughout Chapter 2 that the company was trying to revive dead rats using gel made from poppy flowers, and that now they were looking for quote-unquote larger subjects, aka children. We also saw paperwork where members of the staff were rating children's physical abilities in order to best pair them with the appropriate toy. Enter the setting for this newest chapter, Playcare. As the teaser says,
I announce Playcare, our very own on-site orphanage.
having an
On-site orphanage.
would give them plenty of larger subjects to dip into poppy gel. Kids
Gosh.
forgotten by a system. Kids that are untraceable. But then what? What did they do here that led them to becoming the horrifying monsters that we've now come to expect from the franchise? Well, I suspect the answer to that question lies with this teaser. But not in the teaser, rather the thumbnail. You see, the thumbnail obviously puts the gas mask front and center as you'd expect. But there's a detail here that isn't present in the actual video. Surrounding everything is this red mist. It looks cool, and it definitely works nicely with the gas mask theme, but as someone who spends way too much time in thumbnail design meetings, I can tell you that this detail is more than just a "it looks cool" moment. This detail is intentional. It reveals way more than anything in the teaser itself. It reveals the usage of poppy gas. I mean, poppies are red flowers after all, so it just seems to make sense.
I do think that the poppy gas, I think that's probably where they're headed with this, right? Is making the poppy into a gas that then is converting the kids.
Immediately after I filmed this over on GT Live, I jumped on the computer and started looking into the idea of poppy gas. And you know what I found? Nothing. Zilch. Nada.
Well,
Turns
yeah,
out
I'd
nobody's
hope.
interested in turning an odorless flower into a gas.
Browser
Then,
history police,
there was
like,
a
exactly,
moment from the
like-
opening seconds of the game.
Her hair is sturdy and won't come out when you brush it, and smells just like a poppy flower.
Her hair smells like poppy flower, but poppies aren't supposed to have a smell, right? Well, they don't, unless you're talking about a specific type of poppy. Opium poppies. This is actually
Opium
something that I
poppy.
casually tossed out there in our first ever theory on
What?
Poppy Playtime. Side note, I looked into, and it turns out that poppies don't really have that much of a smell. Unless, of course, you're talking about opium poppies, in which case you're opening up a whole lot of messed up there. You see, normal poppies don't have a smell and don't have much of a narcotic effect because they have low levels of alkaloids, basically just a naturally occurring compound in the plant. Opium poppies, though, have higher alkaloid levels, resulting in a stronger smell and more physiological effects on humans. What do?
Yo, y'all know I'm slow, and I didn't even process like half of what he said, but I'm just gonna assume you bad smell.
No further than the Wizard of Oz.
I'm too stupid.
We'll put them to sleep. I can't run anymore.
There you go.
I'm so sleepy.
You can't rest now, we're nearly there.
Opium has been used throughout history as a painkiller and sleep inducer thanks to some of the chemicals found within it, namely morphine and codeine, drugs that you might be familiar with because they're still used today as painkillers. Now, obviously, there are more and more regulations on using opiates like these for medical purposes. In fact, my partner Steph, in her former life before YouTube, worked on helping educate doctors about the medical uses and dangers of opiates and opioids. However, that sort of knowledge didn't exist in the early 1900s, and this stuff was totally unregulated. Opium would commonly be mixed with sugar and water to make syrups, balms, and soups, which would then be given to children that couldn't sleep. These balms could then be applied to women's chests to help babies wean faster, or they would be put on babies' gums to soothe them while they were teething. In fact, they were marketed as soothers and could be purchased in pretty much any grocery store at the time. You know, it was just common practice for perfectly normal kids to be given highly addictive drugs, at least until regulations finally came down in 1912. But as disturbing as that
12 years? Shit, that's crazy.
Playtime Co. using opium poppies and poppies' hair follows this trend of subduing kids who are in pain or just a bit restless using a drug. It also means that they were probably able to skirt around regulations. Who would suspect a toy company putting opium in a doll's hair? And considering they weren't a medical center, they probably were even less likely to fall into suspicion. But how does all of this relate back to our creepy gas mask and the red fumes surrounding the toys? A gas mask, to me, implies that the gas is covering a large area, and that the gas is more concentrated. In my research, I found this: carfentanil, a narcotic gas that's in the same category as opiates and opioids, which is 10,000 times stronger than morphine, which itself is 100 times stronger than opium. And carfentanil has been weaponized as a gas before. In Russia back in 2002, a group of rebels took a theater of 800 people hostage. Since I already seem to be doing movie references in today's episode, it's basically like this opening scene from Tenet. After 3 long days, the Russian authorities were suddenly faced with a difficult choice of how to possibly end the standoff. They decided to use a carfentanil-based gas to knock out the rebels, thereby allowing the troops to get into the building safely. Except there was one problem with the plan. Carfentanil is too strong. Again, stuff is 10,000 times stronger than morphine. Well, sure, the carfentanil did indeed knock out the insurgents so the authorities could get in. It also killed 130 of the hostages who are also in the building breathing the stuff in. The gas fills your lungs, replacing the oxygen that you should be breathing in, meaning that no oxygen is getting into your bloodstream, but instead this deadly chemical, eventually causing your body to shut down. Which then brings us all the way back around to Playtime Co. and their experiments with poppy flowers and rats. The experiment that we read about in Chapter 2 shows that Elliot and his team killed a rat and submerged it into a poppy flower gel mixture before trying to revive it. The process didn't work, which they figured was because of the size of the test subject. But what if it was more than that? What if part of the problem was that it was only coated in a poppy gel mixture? I mean, I could go swimming for hours, but I can't then claim that I'm suddenly hydrated. The water's only effective once it's inside of my body. I'm wondering if that's actually what we're seeing here. Poppy gel didn't work, but what if you breathed in poppy gas? Suddenly, you'd have it in your system immediately as the lungs transfer the gas into the bloodstream. If Playtime Co. is trying to activate the elements of the poppy, it being in the body, in the blood that's keeping people alive, well, it feels like that's gonna get you more consistent results when trying to revive someone. Making it a gas would also make the experimentation process easier. Could you imagine having to submerge one child into a gel mixture and then having to fish him out before putting the next one in? Putting a child in a room filled with gas, however, is a way easier way to do it and far less messy. And yes, at this point, I think I need to make the obvious disclaimer here. This is dark. Very dark. I think we can all very easily see the parallels to World War II gas chambers. But the reason that I'm talking about these very disturbing things and these very tragic events is because it seems like this is where the game's headed to with the upcoming third chapter. This is a toy factory after all. Mass production is their name of the game. Around the factory, we see dozens of broken and bloody cat bees, bronze, boogie bots, and candy cats. These weren't special one-offs like Mommy Longlegs or a giant Huggy. These were everyday toys that were being sold out to the masses. So if there are lots of bloody candy cats laying around the factory, and we've seen children assigned to that specific toy, then it stands to reason that you need a lot of kids ready to be converted. The gas allows you to get a big group of children together in one room, drug them all at once, and then walk in with your colorful gas mask and remove them all ready for mass production. However, I don't think they're just shoving kids into a
Wait a minute, what? Finish that sentence.
Room to be converted. They're using the entire Playcare facility, and I believe that to be the case.
Okay, I thought he was gonna say something else. I don't know why. I heard him about to say an R word, so I was about to say like he was about to say shoved into robots and make like a little FNAF joke here. I thought that was coming because he usually does that. But I just wanted to say, holy hell, this is like probably the most like serious and darkest, most game theory I've probably seen like ever. Like, god damn. Jesus, like, that's all I just wanted to get out.
This gas mask is not
gotta take a second to breathe, ironically.
It's the same color as real-life gas masks that were created during World War II. While most masks...
Yeah, and I say ironically because he put a gas mask on screen.
Neutral colors like black, brown, gray, or green, those colors made the gas masks look unappealing and scary, especially to children. You can imagine why.
Are you my mummy?
In walked Walt Disney. Yep, that Walt Disney, believe it or not. He decided to help the issue out by manufacturing the Mickey Mouse mask, which had the face of the iconic mouse to make it more appealing to kids.
The fuck is that?
They also have the Mickey Mouse mask, but it didn't look like anything coming out of the old House of Mouse.
No.
These masks were bright red, and that was it, just red. Sometimes they had a flappy nose to make them seem more fun, but overall, it was just about making the colors bright so they were less scary. And remind me again,
it scared the hell out of me if I was a kid.
These masks are bright and colorful because they're being worn around children, all in an effort to make them and the scientists that wear them less scary, which of course they have to do so they don't get high off the fumes that are being pumped into Playcare. If these gas masks were only necessary while kids were being shoved into a testing room to be transferred into a toy, then they could have just had them as a standard black color. No kids would be conscious enough to see them being worn. It makes a lot more sense that they're this color though, because the children are seeing them being worn regularly, which you'd have to do if the entire Playcare facility was slowly being gassed. And then all we're left with is a bunch of screaming children. Chapter 3 of Poppy Playtime promises to lean heavy into the twisted backstory of the factory. I'm just not sure any of us realized how dark they were willing to go with this story. Thanks to this new teaser, I think we have an idea. Now the question is, are we going to be brave enough to keep going? But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Here's a quick reminder.
I mean, shoot, like... The gas has to come from somewhere this chapter, and for some reason we suddenly get a gas mask, so I mean, this might just be like the most, like, on-the-spot theory that he's made in a while, too. Shoot, I mean, because, like, we've gone everywhere in this game without gas. Now we head to the area where the kids are meant to be, and now there's gas and a gas mask that somebody's got to wear. So I mean, this might just be the on-the-spot theory for, I won't say for once, but this might be the most on-the-spot theory he's had in a while. But anyway, guys, yeah, if you guys want more Poppy Playtime theory reaction videos from anybody or anything like that, make sure you guys hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe and turn on all notifications. And I'll say it once, and I will say it again. God damn, that was the most craziest Matpat video I've ever consumed in a minute. Bye.